Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsyreplays. Welcome back to the channel. Today we will have a look at the VK4502A, the German Tier 8 heavy tank that no one has really ever liked. It's always been a weak tank that's never really got love. Now, Wargaming gave it an armor buff not so long ago, and to be honest, that armor buff has made the difference to the tank. It has made it a really good tank, but they've also now gave it tungsten shells, which is really good. So I didn't think much of this tank, to be honest, and when I was doing my live stream, I even said on there, like, I don't even think it's worth running the tungsten shells, because I don't think that this tank is going to be worth it. But then I went to play it. I went to play the tank, and I was pleasantly surprised just how good this tank actually is now. And what I like about this tank now is it's different. It's different to the usual heavy, that is different to the usual tier 8 heavy that you get. It's got good DPM, it's got now goodish armor, not bad armor at all, and it now has the tungsten shells. So it's not the same 120mm, 122mm gun that you get. It's different. It feels different and it plays different, and it's exciting to play now. And we're going to have two games for you. I'm going to play one, and we're going to have a really good game from zero. So the turret armor on this is now 250mm, which is still really nice. The hull is 160. Again, not too bad. If you can get that angled, you will get some bounces in this tank. DPM 2270, not bad, not great, but not bad. And that is just an 8.2 second reload. Penetration is where this tank can struggle with, only 215 on your AP pen, which is not a lot at all, and only 265 on your APCR. So yeah, it's you probably struggle with some heavies, again, especially tier 9 heavies. If you're coming up against some tier 9 heavies, you will struggle with that penetration. Average damage 310 alpha on your AP, 260 on your APCR, and 420 on your HE. The aim time 3.4, again, not the best, and the dispersion is 0.335. So I think it could have been it would be much better if it does have better aim time and dispersion. Leave everything else as it is, and maybe just buff them. But do I think it needs more of a buff? No. It does only have 6 degrees of gun depression as well. But on paper, you can see the tank doesn't look fantastic. 38 speed, it really doesn't look fantastic. But then you go and play the tank, and you're literally like left, wow, what the hell is this tank? And I've had a few people now say that the tank is OP. I wouldn't go as far as to say the tank is overpowered. I really wouldn't. But it is very good. You can get the bounces, but you just need to watch what you're aiming for, because the penetration can kind of suck. And of course, just like any other tanks with the tungsten shells, just be careful when you're using that tungsten shells. Make sure that you are aiming already, or you have targets to shoot when you click that tungsten shell button. So you can see we've shot this T-54 twice, and we could just have about time to load it again, and that is with running adrenaline. So if you're running adrenaline and tungsten shells, you have time to shoot a tank 3 times with that tungsten shell every reload. So that is pretty good as well. So we have lost half our hit points, but look, I mean, we're on 540 hit points. We bounced 560. So if we wouldn't have bounced what we did, that game would have not lasted very long, and we would have been called a bit of a noob. But we've still done 1,000 damage, and there is still a little bit of damage left to do. And because I have lost all my hit points, I'm no longer going to play at front line. I'm going to sort of sit behind my team. I'm going to wait for them to take the shots. As you can see here, the WZ-120 is not looking. He is shooting somewhere else. So we are going to go for him, and we're going to just, 3 tanks on 1. He's not going to last very long. Now, I did worry about that. I don't know why people do this. You know, the WZ was looking at that tank, and even though he was turning, going around him, he wanted to still carry on looking at him while I'm driving past. Why not just look at me? Like, why did people have to tunnel people so bad that they forget that I'm right in front of them? It is kind of funny because that happens so often. Like, you set your sights on a tank and you have to deal with that tank regardless of who's in front of you. You just see it so often. So now we're still alive. We've got the AT7 in front of us. Our tungsten shells is just about to go. So we are going to push the button there. We're going to get one shot into the hatch of him. And you can see 375 hit points, which is still pretty decent. But we are only going to be able to get one more shot into this guy because my team are still with me. So our team, I mean, we have carried. And even though I lost all my hit points at the start, I'm still on 2.6k damage. Now, I can see that the IS-6 there is looking at me, so I'm just going to sit and wait for my Indian to go and take the shot or take his attention, and then as soon as he does take the shot, I can then come out and try to get some damage into that guy. And you can see 311, not too bad, and the IS-6 at this point, he can't really do nothing. He can't really do nothing at all, so we are going to get one more shot into him, and I think our team now will take him out. I'm hoping to get a final shot into the IS-6. Will I be able to do it? Yes, just about, and I do get the first shot, but I don't get the kill. So you can see 3.6k damage I got there, and that was pretty easy. That was pretty easy. It did help that I got the bounces as well, and we do manage to get a first class. So after that game, I thought, do you know what, this is actually a pretty nice tank. I never ever in a million years expected me to say that this VK4502A will ever be a good tank, because it's always just been left, you know, it's always been left, never really touched, and Wargaming's never gave it any love. But here you're going to see some very, very good gameplay, lucky gameplay. But you can just, this game shows just how good the tank can be with the tungsten shells and with the armor profile. And when people with big guns like the Smasher doesn't want to use HE or even heat into this guy. So again, remember, it does have 250mm on your turret armor, so do try and get that turret showing as much as you can, but you do have to be careful because it doesn't have a great gun depression. And that there, to be honest, was a nice shot there from the Smasher. Very nice shot, and you can see it is easily pennable when you're just sat still and you give them something to aim at, especially when it is a Smasher. So yeah, lost a little bit of hit points there from Zero. But he's going to come back and he's going to have an amazing game. Now, that 53 TP, you can just see how red that tank is. And a tank like the VK is definitely going to struggle to penetrate that. So do you run it with calibrated shells? Do you run it with the rammer? I mean, again, it is totally up to you. If you run it with the rammer, of course, you're getting the extra DPM. But if you run it with the calibrated shells, you're getting the extra pen, but you're losing that DPM. So the DPM does drop even more. So yeah, I run it with the rammer. Honestly, I run it with the rammer because I do like the DPM, and you're still going to get through a lot of tanks when you are shooting calibrated shells. But you just will struggle a little bit more against those super heavy tanks, especially things like E75s, VK4502Bs. So yeah, you will struggle. So no block damage so far from Zero here in the VK. There we go. There's the first bit of block damage, and there is going to be many more to come. So the LTG coming around the corner there, again, doesn't want to know the VK. He wants to know the other guy around there, whoever he is, the T28 HTC, which is nothing wrong with that. Because he's just focusing that guy and he can get around him, doesn't have a turret. But I love the fact that Zero has spotted that. He spotted that these two tanks are now going to focus on that T28. So he's going to get close, he's going to get the little bit of the ram, and he's going to get a kill. And he's still done 2.5k damage. He's still done a pretty decent job, but he is now getting some block damage, but he's also getting a bit deleted as well. It is a 4 versus 5, so they need to start killing tanks, and he needs to save as many hit points as he possibly can, because there is still 2 Smashers and a Borzik out there. So he's a one-shot to 3 of these tanks. And even the Progetto 46, he's basically a one-shot, but the Progetto does die. So Zero's now done 3k damage and 2 kills. So he's already done his job. If the match ends now, he has already done his job, but he's not finished yet. There goes the Action X to bring it now down to a 3 versus 3. And you can see there goes the tungsten shells. He is going to use the tungsten shells, but is it worth it? Was that worth it? Because he's only going to be able to get that one shot out, unless a juicy Borzik comes around the corner right at the moment you want him to, and he gets a beautiful high roll with the tungsten shell. So at least he still gets 2 shots out into this into these guys before before the tungsten shells is over. So here comes the Borzik. I think he's going to need a miracle here. Zero's definitely going to need a miracle, but he does still manage to take him out for his 3rd kill, and now 4.5k damage. But there is still 2 smashers to deal with, both smashers in a platoon. The FV201 up there, he can't really do anything. He's a one-shot, so he can't really do anything. But Zero definitely needs some help here. Again, if I was a smasher coming up against a one-shot heavy in tier 8, I mean, the smasher does not have good pen at all. It had nice heat pen. It does not have good AP pen at all. So I would literally be having heat or even HE loaded, and probably even waiting for my teammate. Definitely waiting for my teammate is a must. But no, he goes for the shot and he misses his shot. So Zero wanted to rush him, but it still shouldn't be a problem for Zero. But nice ram with the tungsten shells there, and that now means he's going to use the adrenaline, and he gets a nice bounce. 4 kills and 5,300 damage, and he's now only on 349 hit points. But yeah, there's still some hit points left on the enemy smasher. And again, at this point, if I was the enemy smasher, I would probably just load up HE, because he can still take a few shots. I mean, look at that, 1,200 hit points. I would have the HE loaded, because at least then you don't need to know, you don't need to aim. You just look at the tank and you shoot. You just look at the tank and you shoot. Even if you don't clear him with the first shot, you'll still be going to be able to reload before your hit points are all gone from this DPM. But Zero's getting himself into a great position. Now, I absolutely love what Zero does here. He's being very risky in getting that shot, but as soon as the smasher comes forward, he knew that the smasher didn't have the DPM to deal with him, and the only way he could survive that is to drop down. Yes, he does lose a little bit of hit points doing so, but he managed to get away from this smasher, and that is a match-winning decision. Definitely a match-winning decision. Now, the smasher is going to come around the corner. If he had the tungsten shells right now, he could clear him. Now, he is using the tungsten shells, and again, if I was the smasher, I'd probably just come round, you know, thinking, okay, 349, the VK's got to be very lucky to get a high roll like that, even with tungsten shells. But yet the smasher doesn't come round, and even Zero is taking his time at getting that shot off. He gets the shot and he gets another bounce, and at this point he knows he's got the smasher on the reload and he's going to take him out. Very, very good game from Zero there. 1,450 blocked damage. On top of that, world record in the VK45 at 6.6k damage. Very, very well played, Zero, and thank you for sending that to a few of us YouTubers on Discord. Very good game, and them 2 games will show just how good this tank actually is now, and I'm very pleasantly surprised at that. I love the fact Wargaming take a tank that's not very good at all. No one plays it because it's boring, and they make it into a tank that everybody could be playing, and everybody could be having games like this, and mega fun. So yeah, well done Wargaming for this buff. And the best thing about it, it's a really good tank now, but it's not overpowered. I still don't think it's overpowered. It's just a very strong tank in the right hands. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are on the VK4502 now. Now it's got the armor buff and it has tungsten shells. So let me know in the comments what you think of this tank. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I'm meadsyreplays, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye bye. With